It's the world's largest digital identity program, over 1.3 billion people enrolled, linked to welfare, banking, and even SIM cards. But in India, the Aadhaar ID isn't just about convenience, it's about control. What began as innovation has become a debate over privacy, power, and the right to exist in a digital state. Launched in 2009, Aadhaar gives every Indian a unique 12-digit number tied to fingerprints and iris scans. It was meant to simplify life, one ID, accepted everywhere. Today it underpins welfare, pensions, taxes, mobile plans and healthcare, a single verification layer for modern India. Supporters hail Aadhaar as a triumph of efficiency. It cut fraud, reduced ghost beneficiaries and powered India's fintech boom. The Unified Payments Interface, or UPI, now moves massive volumes of transactions, often authenticated through Aadhaar's verification layer. But critics say the same integration means every financial act can be traced and potentially restricted. For millions, Aadhaar was transformative. Bank accounts opened for the first time, direct benefit transfers reached real recipients, and bureaucratic red tape fell away. Governments could target subsidies with far greater precision than ever before. But success brought risk. In 2018, journalists exposed how Aadhaar-linked records had surfaced on unsecured portals. While the central database remained intact, the leak showed how peripheral systems can put data at risk, and how fragile trust can become. In rural districts, fingerprint mismatches have had severe consequences. Scanners that can't read worn or calloused fingers have left pensioners and family rations waiting, sometimes for days. For those on the edge, a failed authentication can mean no food, no medicine, no income. The legal battle over Aadhaar reached the Supreme Court. In 2017, the court recognized privacy as a constitutional right. In 2018, it ruled that Aadhaar could remain for welfare and public functions, but imposed limits on private sector use. The judgment reshaped how India governs digital identity. Critics argue that when banking, telecoms, and benefits all hinge on one ID, the infrastructure that includes can also exclude. An administrative block or a failed verification can effectively erase a person's access to modern life. Supporters reply that the net gains, fewer scams, more efficient services, outweigh isolated problems. Aadhaar's scale hasn't gone unnoticed. Governments from Africa to Southeast Asia study the model for their own ID projects. The World Bank calls it pioneering digital public infrastructure, but European policymakers watch warily, asking how to balance scale with rights. Beyond leaks, there is a deeper fear: lawful monitoring. Authentication logs and linked systems create metadata trails that could be used to reconstruct lives. Even if data is not misused today, the potential alone creates pressure and distrust. The government and UIDAI have introduced safeguards, limited data retention, virtual IDs and offline verification methods. New privacy law frameworks aim to create oversight, but critics say enforcement and transparency remain the weak link. For families who gained access to banking or subsidies, Aadhaar is a lifeline. For others locked out by a failed scan, it is a daily hazard. These conflicting experiences explain why public opinion remains mixed. For the UK and other democracies exploring digital ID, Aadhaar is both blueprint and warning. The technology works. Governance must be stronger. Without legal safeguards, auditing and transparent oversight, the efficiency of an ID can easily become a lever of control. India's digital revolution is a story of scale and consequence, remarkable advances in inclusion, matched by hard lessons about privacy and governance. The question for every nation is not whether to build a digital ID, but how to ensure it serves citizens, not systems.